This week, I'm telling you guys, it's literally the most important week because remember CPI, right? It was a precursor to this week. Not only do we have external events with the Fed, but internal events specifically tying to XRP. I must repeat, this week is going to be the most explosive week yet. Why? Let us begin. Eric Trump says tomorrow's not crypto related, but be patient. Big announcements to come, right? We got announcements from every angle, it seems as, and possibly XRP is pumping right now. Why is that the case? Perhaps front running tomorrow, right? It seems like every day this week there's going to be some type of bullish sentiment, or even perhaps bearishness. It depends on what happens. Okay, so let us begin because this is pretty interesting. You guys ready? Ripple vs SEC hits a key deadline today, depending on when you're watching this video. After 4+ years, the case could end soon. One signature could end it or trigger another year of appeals, right? So this is just the beginning, guys. And there's a bunch more after this. On June 12th, Ripple and SEC filed a renewed joint motion proposing $50 million fine to the SEC, $75 million returned to Ripple. Then, injunction lifted on institutional sales, no further appeals. So, Judge Torres hasn't signed off yet. Now, the 60-day pause ends, and the SEC must file a status report tomorrow. If Judge Torres approves this renewed motion, the case could close. So it's literally, it could be a day away, basically. Literally. It could happen this week, supposedly. Right? That years upon years upon years of pain and suffering may end this week. Is that why XRP is pumping? Or slightly on the move here? Right? Perhaps front running any type of news. Right? People want to bet, so there are movement happening right now with not only XRP but Bitcoin as well. So, attorney John Deaton says there's a 70% chance Judge Torres will grant relief. Other lawyers say this motion avoids an appeal and ends the crypto industry most watched case. So basically, this motion, by the way, if approved by Judge Annalisa Torres, the judge could dissolve an injunction against Ripple and release $125 million in escrow, with $50 million going to the SEC and $75 back to Ripple, guys, marking a potential end to one of the most influential cases in cryptocurrency history. Right? Though, if the judge rejects it, or the SEC shows no progress, the case shifts back to appeals with more filing and delays. Tomorrow may mark the final step in Ripple's battle. That's it. Right? So supposedly this is the game plan, guys. Either it ends or it gets delayed. And it keeps going on and on and on until the finale. This is what John Deaton says about it. But then we have a bunch more news coming out for this week. So this is just the beginning. I'm telling you. Let us prepare.
Settlement by the SEC and Ripple, where the SEC wants the judge to dissolve her injunction against Ripple and reduce the $125 million fine to $50 million. And if the Judge Torres is acceptable with that, agreeable to that, she will, by order, reduce the fine and dissolve the injunction, then this case goes away and there's a settlement. And they thought she would probably rubber stamp it, right? It's just one other big case off her desk, and the Judge Torres threw a curveball. So first of all, you cited the wrong rule. Second of all, you haven't demonstrated to the court that there are exceptional circumstances for me, Judge Torres, who followed the law and issued an injunction, for me to just say, I changed my mind, I'm going to dissolve the injunction. You got to do some effort. You got to show me some stuff, right? You got to meet this high standard. It's actually a high standard of exceptional circumstances. And so she said, come back to me. So I thought, well, shit, right? She's pissed off. For one, look at all the time that she spent on this case, 4.5 years, the amount of hours and resources and money and effort that was expended on this case. And all of a sudden the SEC says, "Psych, we changed our mind, Judge. We wanted $1.3 billion in a fine. And now we want you to take your $125 million fine and reduce it by 60%. She wants a little bit more. So I thought that the SEC and Ripple would put together a brief that'd be a little bit more than what they did. Now, I'm gonna, at the end of this, I'll tell you, I think she'll grant it like by 70%, but I'm going to give you a little synopsis.
So there we go, guys, right? By 70%, there's a chance. It's basically a make it or break it, guys. Tomorrow, right? It's actually quite like nerve-wracking here. What's odd to me is Fartcoin, a meme coin, is now live on Coinbase.com. This exchange, by the way, right, Coinbase, with its self-proclaimed great crypto listing criteria that delisted XRP for 2.5 years, has listed Farcoin. It's elementary, guys, right? This was just a side note. Insane, huh? That basically, when we were down the gutter, guys, everyone kicked at us, right? And spat on our faces. But as soon as this case is done and over with, it seems like we'll finally be crowned king. I think so, guys. The question is, will they delay it? Will the judge delay it or no? That goes back to the chart. Okay, because the chart always tells the news, or if it like tells you what's upcoming next. I have a feeling I have to go with the delay here. Okay, I have to go with the delay. Now, I'm not 100% sure myself, right? Because honestly, on the lower time frames, XRP doesn't look too bad. It actually looks good. So we may honestly see a pop here. But the only issue I'm having is liquidity has been formed so dramatically down at these levels. It's absolutely diabolical. And remember, the market makers target liquidity, which is you and I's trades, right? And liquidation prices. If that's the case and there's so much liquidity down there, if there is a delay, by the way, XRP, I could guarantee you, will dump. Right? If it does not end and there's a delay and there is attachment of news with price, right? To fulfill its movement downwards. If somehow it passes and everything's like sunshine and rainbows tomorrow, we're gonna pump, right? And probably this liquidity gets saved for later on. So it's basically a make it or break it, guys. What will happen? I guess today, right? Tomorrow, today, we'll find out. But it doesn't stop there, because there's more to add on to the story. It gets even crazier by the day. Why? Look what just happened here. Don't forget, SEC decision on Franklin Templeton's spot XRP ETF is due June 17th as well. Franklin Templeton's ETF either gets approved or not. Literally after tomorrow. After the case with SEC. Historical SEC delays. So, like the extension from May 3rd to June 17th of 2025 for this ETF, for an XRP spot ETF, for further evaluation of the ETF proposal reflect regulatory caution, possibly influenced by the 2020 SEC lawsuit against Ripple. Market speculation suggests a potential XRP surge to $20 to $27 if approved. This is why it's so important for this spot ETF to get approved for Ripple, guys. Imagine this. Imagine the case ends, okay? Then, suddenly, this gets approved the next day. Like, how explosive will that be? People are now, the community, saying, hey, if this ETF gets approved, okay, in the coming days, XRP will go to $20 to $27. Why? Because a similar path of how Bitcoin pumped, right? But XRP is more volatile because you don't need much money to pump it. If it does get approved, we could see an approval correction, right? Similar to Bitcoin, 20% drop, guys, when Bitcoin got approved. So Bitcoin was like here, I think it was 47K, I remember, I don't really know, but then it dumped, right? It dumped, and afterwards it started to pump crazy. Okay? It could be buy the rumor and then sell the news for both of these news. Again, maybe targeting liquidity down here, right? So just be very careful. There's so much happening this week, guys, and this is just internal news. Then we got the Senate will vote on the Genius Act this week, June 17th, the same day for the SEC Ripple spot XRP ETF approval. Will it pass or get delayed again for the Genius Act? So the Genius Act set for a Senate vote on June 17, 2025 aims to regulate stablecoins by mandating full reserves, interesting, Tether, and monthly disclosures. All eyes on Tether, huh? So the reason this is all happening in the first place is because it was a move spurred by the 2022 Terra Luna collapse, guys, that erased $40 billion, highlighting risks in unregulated crypto assets. That's why this law will get passed, because they brought upon the sheep, which was Terra Luna, and it collapsed, And now they're like, oh, we can't have that happen again. I told you that's how regulations will form when people lose a lot of money, right? Because now the people we are crying for help. A 66 to 32 Senate vote in May 2025 suggesting strong bipartisan support, yet its passage remains uncertain due to past delays and opposition from crypto advocates who argue it could stifle innovation, as noted in the 2023 MIT study on regulatory overreach in fintech. Though the Act's focus on anti-money laundering compliance under the Bank Secrecy Act aligns with a 2024 report showing stablecoins' $232 billion market cap, positioning it as a potential global standard, but raising concerns about excluding non-compliant foreign issuers like the newly audited Ruble backed A7A5. I'm not sure what that is about, but again, this, as Grok says here, is it going to be bullish or bearish for cryptos or for Bitcoin, right? It's likely bullish. As clearer stablecoin rules could boost crypto adoption and trading volumes, indirectly benefiting Bitcoin. Though, if there are strict regulations, it may limit innovation, potentially harming Bitcoin's market. Okay, so this is all massive news, guys. This is all happening this week, and it's not stopped yet. It hasn't stopped because then that interest rate decision happens on Wednesday. And this is the biggest bombshell of them all. In 2 days and 14 hours, the Fed activates and it comes into play. The market is pricing in the Fed is going to hold rates. There is a 3.2% chance they'll cut because of all the black swans that are happening recently with the world. In my humble opinion, they should have cut rates. I mean, they should have hike rates. Okay, they should have hike rates because it would have collapsed the whole system right now, right? So we could just get it done and over with, but they won't. They're probably gonna hold right here, right, and let everyone suffer more and more and more. These are all the things that are happening as we speak, guys. Again, tomorrow, then the next day, and then the day after, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's all explosive news. SEC, from SEC to XRP ETF to the Genius Act, stablecoin approval or not, and then the decision of Fed of the FOMC, guys. Okay, the Fed rate decisions happens on Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, if this isn't a crazy week, I don't know what else is. It's going to be a very hectic, volatile week. Let us prepare, not financial advice. Whatever says, so face me, see ya.